From the battlefields to the political battlefield, Benjamin Bibi Netanyahu has stood at the heart of Israel's most defining moments. A man of sharp strategy, unshakable will, and relentless controversy, his life reads like a gripping political thriller, filled with victories, challenges, and turning points that shaped a nation. If you're ready to dive deep into the untold story of one of the world's most influential leaders, you're in the right place. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon, so you never miss the next chapter of history brought to life. In the narrow streets of post-war Jerusalem, where the scent of orange blossoms drifted through stone alleyways and the hum of a newly born nation filled the air, a boy named Benjamin Netanyahu opened his eyes to a world already burdened with history. Born on October 21st, 1949, in Tel Aviv but raised in Jerusalem, Bibi was the son of Benjamin Netanyahu, a brilliant historian of Jewish history, and Sila Segal, a caring mother whose warmth balanced the intellectual intensity of the household. His father's mind was fixed on centuries of struggle and identity. His son would one day live those struggles in real time. The Netanyahu family's life took a transatlantic turn when Benzion accepted a teaching post in Philadelphia. It was in the United States that young Benjamin, or Ben to his classmates, learned the rhythms of American culture while never forgetting the sands and sun of Israel. But home was never far from his thoughts, especially when news from the Middle East brought word of war, danger, and sacrifice. By 1967, as Israel braced for the Six-Day War, Netanyahu returned home and joined the Israel Defense Forces. His destiny took him into Sayeret Matkal, Israel's elite commando unit, a brotherhood forged in danger. The missions were perilous, demanding absolute precision and courage. He took part in the legendary rescue of hostages from a hijacked Sabina flight in 1972, an operation that left him wounded but strengthened in resolve. The military didn't just teach him tactics, it instilled discipline, resilience, and a lifelong instinct to calculate risks like moves in a chess game. Yet even warriors seek knowledge. After his service, Netanyahu returned to the United States, earning degrees from MIT in architecture and management while studying political science at Harvard. It was here, in classrooms and libraries, that he absorbed economic theory, diplomatic nuance, and the modern language of leadership. He worked at the Boston Consulting Group, crossing paths with future political figures like Mitt Romney, men who, like Netanyahu, were sharpening their skills for battles not yet fought. Fate, however, struck a deep personal blow in 1976. His elder brother, Yonatan Netanyahu, commander of the Entebbe hostage rescue, was killed in the operation that would go down in history as one of Israel's most daring military successes. For Benjamin, Yoni's death was more than a family tragedy. It was a moment of transformation. He stepped into the public sphere as an outspoken voice against terrorism, organizing conferences and speaking on the global stage with a passion born of loss. In the 1980s, Netanyahu's diplomatic career took off. As deputy chief of mission at the Israeli embassy in Washington and later as Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, he cultivated a polished, media-savvy persona. He spoke flawless English, charmed American talk show audiences, and defended Israel's position with a blend of reason, history, and unshakable will. The world was starting to take notice. Here was a man who could hold his own in the global arena, articulate in his convictions, and unafraid of confrontation. The leap from diplomacy to politics was inevitable. Returning to Israel, Netanyahu entered the Knesset in 1988 under the Likud party. In just a few years, his sharp mind and telegenic presence propelled him to party leadership. By 1996, at just 46 years old, he became Israel's youngest ever prime minister, riding a wave of security concerns and promises of a stronger, safer nation. His first term was marked by tense peace negotiations, a declining wave of terror attacks, and the signing of the Wye River Memorandum. But his assertive style and political enemies ensured that the road would be rough, and by 1999, voters sent him packing. Most politicians would fade after such a defeat. Not Netanyahu. He reinvented himself, serving as finance minister in the early 2000s, introducing bold and controversial free market reforms that transformed Israel's economy into a high-tech powerhouse. The moves won him praise from economists and scorn from opponents. But in politics, survival is often built on making the hard calls. In 2009, Netanyahu staged a comeback worthy of a political drama. Over the next decade, he would serve 3 more consecutive terms, becoming Israel's longest-serving leader. His tenure was a study in contrasts. He forged historic alliances, including the Abraham Accords, which normalized relations with several Arab nations, yet also faced international criticism for settlement expansion in the West Bank. He navigated shifting relations with U.S. presidents, clashing with Barack Obama, finding an ideological ally in Donald Trump, and bracing for changes under Joe Biden. But Netanyahu's career has always been shadowed by controversy. Indictments on charges of bribery, fraud, and breach of trust in 2019 set off political earthquakes, fueling protests and multiple elections in just 2 years. Yet even in the eye of the storm, he held on, maneuvering through Israel's fragmented political landscape with the instincts of a battlefield commander. In late 2022, against predictions, Netanyahu returned once more as prime minister, leading what many call the most right-wing coalition in Israel's history. Judicial reforms proposed by his government triggered some of the largest protests the nation had ever seen. And in 2023, as the Israel-Hamas conflict erupted into one of the bloodiest wars in decades, Netanyahu again found himself at the center of both national unity and bitter division. Through it all, Benjamin Netanyahu has remained what he has always been, a relentless survivor. His story is not merely that of a politician, but of a man whose life has been intertwined with the fate of a nation from its earliest years. From the dusty streets of Jerusalem to the halls of the United Nations, from the commando's battlefield to the prime minister's office, Netanyahu's journey is one of ambition, controversy, resilience, and an unyielding belief that his role, for better or worse, is to stand at the helm when Israel faces the storm.